So this is a topic I feel so passionate about. I mean, it's really what's driven me to do Living ROI. And it's about how people behave in business and how we think we're supposed to behave in business. I'm sure you've heard the saying, it's not personal, it's business. Or maybe you haven't heard it, but you've heard of it. I mean, it was in The Godfather. It was something that was used a lot more years ago in business. The concept of it is still considered valid in some circles, which is that when you're at work, you can have this different set of ethics, of behaviors than you need to have or have in the rest of your life. And that is just wrong. We are just one person. Regardless of where we are, our behavior is our behavior. Our set of values, our character is really one. And if you behave like a jerk or unkindly at work, then that's you. A great saying, it's how you do anything is how you do everything. So whether you're washing the dishes or working on a project at work, how do you approach it? How do you actually do that type of work? And if we think in terms of our behavior, how we behave in any situation is really going to reflect on the type of person we are in every situation. Have you ever worked with somebody who was difficult to work with, made your life difficult, made other people's lives difficult? I'm guessing yes. I remember when I was a young professional living in London, working for ABC News in the early 1990s, and there was this senior producer who was so difficult to work with. It was stressful working with her. And I once went to a senior leader there, and I say leader, and asked, why is this person not fired? They make it so miserable for everyone around them. And he said, well, she delivers. She gets the job done. And I knew, and I thought to myself, that is wrong. And I will never, if I'm in a situation where I'm managing other people or I'm in charge of an organization, I will not let that type of poisonous behavior exist in my organization. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to see Jack Welch, former CEO of GE, give an interview at a conference, and he was amazing. I was so inspired, particularly when he talked about talent and how to manage talent. He said, first of all, an organization has to have clear values and behaviors in addition to a strategy. And when you're really assessing team members, employees, you have to look at, one, how are they performing? And two, how are they behaving? Do they fit into the culture, and how are their behaviors? And he says they fall into four categories. The first one is your team member who performs extremely well and they totally align with the culture and the behaviors of the organization. And that's easy. You keep them and you promote them and you're thrilled to have them in your organization. The second is a team member who doesn't perform well and also doesn't align with the behaviors. And Jack said that's equally easy. You say goodbye and get rid of them. Then there's a third type of employee, someone who doesn't perform well, but really aligns with the behaviors and values of the organization. Give that person a second or a third chance. Move them around in the organization and try to find some place for them to be. And when Jack talks about the fourth type of employee, he said that's the one that really kills an organization. It's the jerk, his words, who performs well, hits the numbers, but doesn't have the behaviors. And you can't fix that. You got to get rid of them. So like the person who I worked with all those years ago at ABC News, when you reward somebody who has great performance but doesn't behave according to the values and principles of the organization, it sends a message to the entire organization that this type of behavior is okay as long as you deliver. And that is a bad message. It's very hard to keep your organization clean and functioning well. People are going to start to leave. A lot of stuff begins to fall apart. So what Jack says is that person kills your organization. Don't let it happen. And now I'd like to talk about kindness. Kindness is a quality that I know as I was growing up, I thought of as soft and not that important. Oh, that person's kind, but it doesn't mean that they're powerful. And that's also absolutely wrong. Most people would never consider kindness in conjunction with business, but actually the truth is that they mix beautifully, because within an organization are a bunch of people. And when you are kind to those people and thoughtful to those people, they're going to behave better and perform better. That's the bottom line. In fact, kindness is more important than ever. In a recent Oxford University study, it showed that kindness leads to trust, engagement, and commitment. And that is great for any organization. When I started ROI Communications 17 years ago, I knew I wanted to have a kinder organization, and I really believed in it. But I have to say, there were times when I thought to myself, would I get more out of somebody if they were just a little nervous, like felt a little pressure about the fact that there were other people who might like to be in that same position, and if they didn't keep on the ball, then maybe they wouldn't have a job. I just have to say that it crossed my mind, because I think if that crossed my mind, then it's crossing a lot of people's mind, because I've been so committed. So no longer does that cross my mind, because I fully and completely know and believe that people perform their best when they feel safe, when they're taken care of, when they know that they can take care of themselves and their loved ones, and then bring their best to work. And if something is out of alignment, if they're not well, if their family isn't well, if their pet isn't well, they know that they can take care of that. And so they don't carry that stress in the background. They're even more committed, because they're so grateful that they have the freedom to know that they can take care of their basic needs and still have a great job. Given today's political environment, boy, we need kindness more than ever. So I encourage you, no matter where you work or what level of the organization you're in, you can make a big difference by just changing your own behavior and getting to know your colleagues better, and taking the time to ask people how they're doing and to help people out and to congratulate people on a job well done. And I'll leave you with this powerful quote. When you are kind to others, it not only changes you, it changes the world.